Good day, everyone. Appreciate you tuning in and taking a look at these videos and working on yourselves and getting yourselves healthy. You know, it is a huge deal. It's a huge deal. You know, when you start changing and asking questions about your health, and even though pain drives you to seek more answers, which, I mean, that's part of the negative side of life. It inspires you to change. It inspires you to make a difference. It inspires you to grow, actually. As negative as that is sometimes. But, you know, sometimes that pain drives you to awaken. And it's unfortunately, I've always said, you know, it's a pain to get here and it's a pain to leave sometimes. You know, some people have an easy come in and an easy go out. But for the most part, pain's involved in both processes. It's amazing, you know. Who wants to come here when all that's involved? But anyway, I think you're all doing fantastic. And I know some of you are struggling intellectually. I'll put it that way. Because we have come along with so much propaganda, so many lies, so much misinformation, that it's all kind of, even in the natural health field, you know, this is the thing is, you know, medical, they just have a certain pathway of thinking. And it's just down a certain road. Once you well, I don't know if you can ever understand that, but it's definitely totally something that's way on the outside of the city. Because it really doesn't reach in and grab truth in any way, shape, or form, except for good surgeries and some good ER work. But there's been lousy on all those sides, as there is in naturopaths, you know, lousy naturopaths out there. So you have to protect yourself. As I told you before, the head of the AMA said, let buyer beware. So this is why I like to educate. And I can, you know, I've talked to you about this before, is that, you know, things seem simplistic and are simplistic. You have to be careful about your mind getting in your way. And this is why I talk about it so much. And a good example, there's a couple of you, some of you know who I'm talking about, who just were you know, after time and digging into the body and not really digging in deeply, one starts asking about, oh, look, over here, I could add this vitamin, or I could add this mineral, or I could add probiotics, or I could add digestive enzymes. And this is the sort of thing, even though David Wolf didn't have a real awareness about botanicals, he was, you know, Mr. Avocado, the raw food guy. And now, you know, you're pushing digestive enzymes and you're pushing supplements and stuff like that. And I think that you see that. And remember, we talked about the universal mind and how we all can have similar thoughts, see similar visions, have similar desires, what we'd like to take place. And a good example of that is when you enter the natural health field and you realize that this level of healing is at the top. You just want to shout it out. You want to go help everybody. You found the answer to how you help people. And it's that sort of excitement that pulls you into this, and it's so exciting. And as you start down that road, sometimes if you're new to that, then all these other things come in. Oh, look over here. All these supplements can do this, this, and this, and this. And oh, this can do this, and this, and this. I've had a lot of years using supplements on and off and doing different things. And I can just flatly tell you that it is ridiculous and a pure waste of your time to think that you can find something out there that's going to magically clean an entire lymphatic system in your body, remove all the acids out of there, and clean you up and rebuild tissue. If you think any vitamin and mineral will do that, you're misguided. If you think going out and having chelation therapy will do that, you're misguided. If you go out there and think acupuncture will do that, you're misguided. If you go out there and think chiropractic will do that, you're misguided. I mean, when you go around and you're looking for a remedy, not a therapeutic modality. If your back needs fixed, go to a chiropractor. There's some awful good chiropractors out there. If you need to deal with pain or you need to move energy to tissue in a rapid way, acupuncture is great. There's a lot of different therapeutic modalities that are great. But keep your feet planted on simplicity and awareness. Get out of your minds, Jermaine. And some of you guys have to get out of your minds because you're going to take yourself down another road, and it's a waste of time. Although I welcome you all to do that. You know, I really don't care. I mean, it's difficult to control that sort of thing. But people do this and then circle right back around, and I'm seeing them right back in my office a year, 2 years later, but their problems are much deeper. You know, the sad thing is I get a lot of clients from even 5, 10 years ago coming back in, and some of them are so advanced now in their troubles because they couldn't get with the simplicity and the wear it like a robe and riding a bull type syndrome where they just get on and get it. That's why I take my time and try to educate every one of you guys the truth of it all. It doesn't matter. If you want to spend time using vitamins and minerals, you want to spend time doing that, go right ahead. We get them in here again with grocery bags full of supplements. Still the same problem. And this is a shortcut. A shortcut. It's the only shortcut. It's the only way to get on that paved gold road to Wellville. If you don't detox and clean these acids and get these heavy metals and neurotoxins and all the chemistry you put in that's not gone out, plus just the loss of kidney and all the endocrine gland functions, how do you get those back with vitamins and minerals and amino acids and digestive enzymes? You don't. You never will and you won't. And anybody out there that preaches stuff like that is ridiculous. You might feel a little better taking something like that, but it won't last that long. It's like taking steroids and hormones and things. Oh, you feel better for a while, and then you start to see the irony of that you're losing your gland function. You need to up your dosages because you're losing your gland functions because your glands don't like to be supplemented with hormones and steroids and neurotransmitters. So keep your feet planted firmly on the path and you'll make it. If you go byways, highways, fine. I'm always here for you. And I just want you to know that. I don't care. If you want to take off and go down a road to vitamins and minerals, but don't waste your money and time for those that don't need to do that sort of thing. You know, that's the job of some of us that have been around a while, those that have went through these things and that have worked on so many people and had the results we have, is I can help you avoid a waste of time and a lot of money. But you have to feel that. And sometimes it's important that one goes out. And this is for you Facebook too. Sometimes you're going to have someone like Jermaine that needs to go on out there and get dirty in another level. You know, take on vitamins and minerals, do your live blood cell analysis, do these things. But in the final analysis, there's only one way to walk. There's only one way to get rid of unbalanced chemistry. There's only one way. You can't say, and this is important for you guys that are thinking that way, think about deficiencies. And this is to all your naturopaths. You can't live in this world of deficiency until you do 3 things. And what are those 3 things? You've got to fix an individual's digestive system. They've got to be able to digest their carbohydrates, break down their fats, etc., etc. Same with the proteins, but we don't want them on proteins. So we want to make sure that the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas is all in pretty good health. What brings them down? Well, you got a bunch of cells and 2 fluids. Could it be the chemistry you're eating? And what else could we look at? The inability of those cells in the liver to remove their byproducts and waste from metabolism, respiration, blah, 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 blah. And that's where most of the inflammation is. Not from eating is not really inflammatory, although it, exacerbates that. But in the long run, what you eat, what you breathe, what you put on your skin, what you drink, all these factors of how you touch chemistry and bring it in is how it interfaces with your own chemistry. You want a balanced body chemistry? Start eating balanced body chemistry. Don't try to balance body chemistry with some chemist thought on how you do that, because it never works. The only way your body balances itself out is when you start bringing in balanced nutrition. And where do you get balanced nutrition from? Whole foods. Where do you get balanced nutrition on? Unfired foods. You don't get nutrition from cooked foods. So where do you get nutrition from? Where do you get the living, breathing essence of vitamins and minerals and salts and alkaloids and coumarins and flavonoids and all that? Foods. Just from your foods. Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food. It's that simple. The problem in there, we can argue a lot of problems. Growth issues, soil issues, but remember, roots are just like we are. We look for good restaurants, so does roots of plants. They look for nutrition. And so they're always looking for nutrition. We might not have the topsoil we have, but we have roots still looking for nutrition, and we have the best you can get. The worry of that, to me, is a little one-sided when we haven't corrected the understanding of what all the food sources that we're consuming, like the dairies and the dead animals and the beans and the nuts and all this. We've got to get away from consumption of these type of complex foods. Because really, for a frugivore species like the Homo sapien, meat is not a food. It's a toxin. And by the way, there's only really one animal that deals with proteins halfway well. And again, we've talked about this, and that's the carnivores. And they don't deal with proteins that well, but that's their lot. They're not long-lived. They stink like crazy. They sleep. They have no endurance. And yet we revere proteins. For why? Look at the animals that eat it, and look what happens to them. Wasn't for the claws and the teeth, and the size. That's the thing. So you have to get down and take a look at these things and realize where the bulk of the energy and nutrition is, and that's where meat is formed from, and that's your fruits and berries and melons and your veggies. And depending, again, which species you are, depends. Well, I hope I'm talking to predominantly Homo sapiens, but there's plenty of animals we talk to and plants. All right. So to make this a question and answer, I wanted to go down through here and try to catch up today a little bit, but there's no catching up from you guys. You guys are on the ball, and there's no catching up with you guys. All right, so this is a Farhana. I am currently 53 years old, and I'm suffering from uterine fibroids. Now, what side of chemistry do you think causes fibroids? Now, there's only two, and you could always refer to everything in that manner. I wanted to finish that. Digestion, absorption, utilization. Remember that? Sometimes I skip over that and don't think about that, but let's wind back a little bit. Until you fix digestion, absorption, utilization, can you ever assume deficiency? And I've talked about that enough. It should be enough. Because the naturopaths out there have to start learning that, and once you have to fix digestion, you have to fix absorption, and you have to fix utilization. So digestion is a glandular issue and an organ issue, all right, predominantly liver, gallbladder, pancreas, of course, small bowel. Stomach in their ways of complex amino acid structures. Absorption is going to be the lymph system in the GI tract wall, and utilization is going to be endocrine glands. So you've got to fix these before you can sit there and think that I'm going through all these tests, and I'm getting all these scans, and I'm deficient on this, I'm deficient on that, I'm deficient on this, and I'm deficient on that. You can't say that until you fix digestion, absorption, and utilization. You fix all three of those things and you're still sick, then you can claim that the food you're eating is making you sick. But how come I can put you on fruits, berries, and melons and fix all three of those things? Interesting. Anyway, it's a 53-year-old with uterine fibroids. Of course, acid side of chemistry, what causes fibroids, of course, and what system deals with the acid side of chemistry? The lymphatic system, and of course, that's going to dig you right into endometriosis too. Ovarian cysts, all three of these things. Atypical cells, all three of these things are an acid experience. I am near menopause, but don't know when I will reach it. I am you're 53. Most women reach it at about 60, depending how good the pituitary is, how well you've done all through your life in that manner, Although there was a 67-year-old lady that gave birth here what was it, last year. I couldn't believe it. Okay, so I am being urged by the allopathic community to undergo a hysterectomy or endometrial ablation. I was losing so much blood a few months ago. Okay, so, you know, that's another thing. This is another issue here, blood. I'm going to say that I would get on the female, if it was me, I'm going to take the female reproductive formula. If that doesn't bring my periods into balance and make them a little healthier, then I'm going in, and on time, I'm going to the pituitary gland and work there a little bit. Also meaning that I'm going to work on my bowels too. Oh, and I mean, I'm going to work on my kidneys and adrenals too, because that controls the lymphatic system, which is the acid system. You see, so these are the things you have to work on to bring this into normal here. You don't have to go through hysterectomies. You do have to bring your interstitial fluids more into a base balance. Or the more acidic you are, it's just you're going to weld your uterus to your colon. She had to have a blood transfusion since my hemoglobin level fell very low. Well, again, for you ladies that have excessive bleeding, and go to the pituitary or the ovaries. Do the female reproductive formula or do the pituitary formula, especially if you have excessive bleeding or your menses is irregular. Now, with that said, there is a bleeding formula that I made, and it is for internal bleeding. And if I'm having excessive bleeding and I'm losing my hemoglobin and red blood cells, I'm going to use that formula to stop or slow down internal bleeding. And I would highly recommend that until you get the pituitary under control, which shouldn't be too long to stop that. But those are the things that I would do while I'm fixing my kidneys, while I'm getting my adrenals up, while I'm getting my bowels cleaned up, while I'm moving that lymph system. I'm over here with a female reproductive. I might be using a glandular to hit that pituitary, one bottle maybe twice a day, you know, that sort of thing, and stop that excessive bleeding. That's not difficult. And then rebuild, build yourself up. Probably some green drinks would probably do you some good here, and that would be with some parsley, cilantro, alfalfa sprouts that are dark green, spinach and stuff like that. Give yourself a little refurbishing with some green drinks. At the same time, dark berry juice, dark berries, dark grapes, extremely enlivening to the blood. Oh, I was prescribed birth control pills. To deal with the bleeding, and I am currently taking them. I don't know how to go about this issue, and I'm inclined to undergo a hysterectomy. For Hannah, I would uncline that. I have been drinking a cup of cow's milk in the morning with black tea for many years. Oh, crap. Well, I mean, that just means you got a lot of lymph to clean up. You know, the more milk people drink, the heavier the lymphatic congestion in the body. I mean, look at the eyes, you know, of dairy consumers. And I've showed you the dairy farmer from Upper New York that has an ice cream manufacturing business with it. In other words, he milks these cows and then makes Bens and Jerry's. But that's the thing. It's just so clogging to the human system, even in its raw state, that once you learn detoxification and you see all that mucus coming out, and the hard work you're putting in there, the question is, how much do you want to put back in there? You know, that's the one thing I would drop completely. And also the black tea. You know, get yourself on the Heal-All tea, something that'll clean you while you're drinking it. It's got a flavorful taste. I recently stopped drinking cow's milk and switched over to drinking store-bought almond milk. Well, you know what? I mean, if I had to pick a milk, I would say the almonds, but we don't want proteins in detoxification or in trouble like this with fibroids or anything. You don't want to bring more acids into the body when you're suffering from anything. Fibroids, endometriosis, ovarian cysts, prostatitis, any type of pain. You don't want to bring proteins into your body. That would be insane. I mean, you just, you know, crazy. For those of you that are in pain, try a week of all raw and then go back on a big protein meal. Look at the difference. Experience for yourself. You don't take my word for these things. What is the cause of my uterine fibroids, and can I get rid of my condition without hysterectomy endometrial ablation? I appreciate your advice I can offer. Oh, I tell you right now, detox, detox, detox. There isn't anything you can bring me with a question that detoxification has not answered that. I've looked at that in every part of it, every size, every shape of that, and it always fits. And that is essential. Detoxification is a process of cleansing, a process of hydration, a process of cell rejuvenation and regeneration, a process of cellular genetic remembering. That's what detoxification is. It isn't just clean you out a little bit and you're okay. No, 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 no. You guys know better. You are becoming the leading authority on detoxification. Every one of us, all of us that work together on this site are becoming the leading authority on detoxification because you guys are doing it the right way. And therefore, you're going to prove and disprove so many things that are out there by Cousins and Youngs and all these people like that, who do not understand the power of the fruit and the berries. So that's what I would do. I wouldn't have a hysterectomy. I'd get in there and start detoxifying myself, hydrating interstitially. Those fibroids will melt away, and you're returning hydration. You're removing acidosis and inflammation. You're removing all these, and you're fixing why. And you're fixing why. Remember that, because if you go into a hysterectomy, you haven't fixed nothing, honey. And imagine you're going in to have a hysterectomy and it hasn't fixed the problem's still there, and the rest of your body keeps getting hit. So what's the next surgery? Gallbladder, maybe? Well, they'll probably take the appendix when they do the hysterectomy. They like to, while they're in there, you don't need this, we're just going to take this with it. They do that in most hysterectomies was the thing. So for those ladies of you that walk into hysterectomies, tell them to keep the appendix intact. But why go to all that surgical intervention? And here's the thing, sweetheart. You go in and have a hysterectomy, guess what now you have to deal with? Forget the fibroids. Now you have two things to deal with. Scar tissue, further acidosis, and adhesions. Then it'll be in again, cleaning out the adhesions. And then you just might be in line for some bladder prolapsus. You just don't know. And this is why it is so much better to take a year of your life. So what's a year? You know how fast a year goes? And really get yourself focused on the way nature deals with things, the way nature has designed you. And start eating the foods the way nature has designed you. Not complicated to observe that. Might not fit in man's intellectualism because he's so conditioned and brainwashed and propaganded to death that he doesn't know what true thought is. Because all thought is conditioned. It is awareness that's unconditioned. It is consciousness, that which is non-thought. That which is all, that which is whole, that which sees all things, that which is you. It's only the mind that takes off and separates and isolates and compares and has the but factor. And that's what you have to be careful with, Jermaine, and a lot of you other guys, is the but factor. Watch your minds. Your minds will take you down some dark roads. Get a hold of those minds, because that's the way of the spiritual way. The spiritual way is to gain control of your bodies and become awakened. The spiritual way is simplicity. You go back and study all the spiritual greats. The spiritual way isn't complicated. Sometimes, in the spiritual fields, you've got like metaphysics. Metaphysics is like the college of spirituality in the sense that in one chapter in a metaphysical book, I can say the same thing in one paragraph. And I've always done that. I've always cut the crap out of things. And why waste your time intellectually trying to sew these intellectual words together to expose truth? Because the mind just gets caught in that. And that's not how you experience the ultimate. You are the ultimate. And simplicity is always the way, the higher way, because you have to put the mind down sometime. All right. Hi there. Hi there, Peter. I am pretty new to the raw vegan diet, and I have a few questions that hopefully you can answer for me. Firstly, my wife has a very low tolerance to foods that are high in amines. Things like kale, avocado, citrus fruits, etc. These foods give her bad migraines. I would like to get her to detox as she has fibromyalgia. Oh yeah, Peter, this is to Peter's wife, honey. Detoxify. Fibromyalgia. That's systemic acidosis. You could use the word inflammation in replace of acidosis. Same chemistry causes it. The problem with fibromyalgia is it's a systemic problem, meaning this person's way down on lymph draining from the kidneys. So get your kidneys filtering, get those adrenals up and your kidneys working on, because you want to get rid of this fibromyalgia. Acids just, put it this way, guys, acids just don't sit there and look pretty, and they don't sit there and just hurt. Oh, no. No, it isn't just about the pain. No. This is about the damage and the mutation of the cells that the buildup of acids within them can cause. So the buildup of acids extracellularly or on the outside is inflammation. That's when you want to clean your body out. When it starts becoming intracellular acidosis, that's the atypical cancer levels that start to develop from acid damage and corrosive to the internal organs of cells. And so it's easy to understand that she needs to detox el pronto because she's in trouble. Fibromyalgia, lupus, Lyme's, all same arthritises, all same stuff, guys. And if you treat them individually and you're looking for a remedy in some faraway places, go ahead. But you'll hurt while you're looking for it, and you'll hurt even more by the time you get done looking, because there's nothing out there. Everything's treatable thinking. And it's one thing you have to learn. I have to tell you, one thing you have to learn. If you treat, you miss the boat. And if you treat, you rarely find remedy. You feel better. We can treat you. We can give you a pain med, but we just lock the pain right in the cell consciousness. We've created all kinds of problems. Even with pain meds, it's scary. You haven't really gotten rid of the pain, just that you're unaware of it consciously. Also, what is your opinion on using mineral supplements in your diet? Why waste your money? Again, we're not about minerals. You can go out and get all the minerals, or just go out and dig some go to Home Depot and buy some black dirt. You got plenty of minerals. Why spend your money? You get a bag for topsoil for $1.20, I think it is now. So $1.20 will buy you a big dark bag of topsoil. There's plenty of minerals right there. Help yourself. Put a little bit of minerals there, a little bit of topsoil right by your salad. That'll be pretty good. No one likes that. But that's what you're asking, and that's the problem with the thinking. Remember, minerals are converted to salts by the plants. And so we can get into that, but I'll tell you, it is a waste of friggin' time. And then you play this game. God created this whole world in chemical harmony and chemical relationships. And I brought this up so many times. The fact that all chemistry is related. Remember, this is a finished, created universe. You can't play with chemistry by, here, you want more calcium? Here's a bunch of calcium. What we don't think and what we don't see, and unless you've had physics, what you don't understand is that when you bring high amounts of calcium as a supplement into your body, creation's finished. So you're bringing a lot of calcium. Who has to leave? Think of chemistry as a room literally crammed full of people. This is the best analogy I can give you. That a room full of people. And you want to come into that room because you have a friend in that room full of people. What has to happen? What has to happen to that room full of people? Somebody's got to step out so somebody can step in. So look at chemistry as complete in the universe. There's no voids. One thing you learn in physics, there's no voids. I don't know what black holes are, but right now, the theory of no voids holds pretty strong. So you see that osmosis, where there's a buildup of chemistry on one side and low on the other. You will always see the waxing and waning of chemistry, how we have osmosis, how we have all the chemical processes and how they work actually. So you move from one dense to less dense. It's always seeking a homeostasis, a balance of chemistry, a balance of magnetics, all this movement of life between the fluxing of the two poles, whether it's electrons around protons, negative around positive, however you wish to look at all of that. So you cannot bring in calcium without pushing out something. And you always push out the sister. The twin sister to calcium is magnesium. You also tend to push out the little brother, phosphorus, which is part of the bone matrix. So you can't do that. Same thing with vitamins. Same thing with everything. Get plenty of vitamins from bacteria in the body, unless you're high on antibiotics, and that'll destroy your vitamin production in the body. I mean, health on this planet is so out of whack. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here, to help you all pull yourself into a state of balance and see the simplicity of health. This shouldn't be a large subject matter involving a life search. There's more things to do. There's more things to have fun with than always seeking to be healthy, which should be your natural lot just to be here. So, minerals, no, because it's made by some chemist, or you ground up rock or volcanic ash, so to speak, or ground up shells. I mean, this is inert stuff. And we think that inert stuff is going to make us well, and that's the problem with man. He's got his head like an ostrich down in the ground, thinking he's going to find truth. Truth is where the light is. Truth is where the energy is. We're only looking at magnetic energy, frequencies of magnetic energy when we're looking at chemistry. I mean, we have really, the real key and what I love about you guys is that you're spiritualizing yourself. And by getting and using these techniques of getting beyond the mind and doing some contemplations, even of those of you that are having out-of-body experiences and stuff, is your ability to see the all, see the whole better. You might not be able to see all the universes and everything together. You have to get way out there to do that. I won't say way out there. You can do that here, but you've just got to really be in the intensity of the now. So you have to be careful about I need to what you need to find is superior food. That's the key. Find the best, the ripest fruits and berries and melons you can. If you have to have some vegetables, have a salad every day. But when you start adding more vegetables, you'll find that your symptoms just don't seem to want to go away. And it's just that veggies don't have the power for the human. Matter of fact, all the animals that eat veggies, they have to fast to get well. Now, let me see, mineral supplements in your diet. I follow Dan McDonald a lot, and he is all in favor of this. Finally, what is your option? And I'm not Dan McDonald. I don't recommend that. I don't, my students can, and that's the thing about Dan. Dan's been a lot of year friend of mine. I've been friends of his for a long time. Doesn't mean that my students think just like I do all the time. I stay steady. My opinions haven't changed for a lot of years because I went through all this. When you go through something like this and you're using them on hundreds and hundreds of people and you start seeing the same results, pretty soon you wake up from that. I don't need to travel there anymore. I've already been there, and if I can save you guys the trip, you'll save yourself some time. If not, go have fun in the fields of minerals and stuff like that. But what a waste of money and an imbalance of body chemistry. We can't always excrete minerals, so you have to be careful because they become free radicals if you're not careful. And the dosages are totally man thought of. This is all man's concepts. When you buy bottles of herbs from me, I just put the herbs together in how I think they love each other and how they're going to work together, and if they're focused on the subject at hand. But they're not in any way chemically altered. They might have been shade dried, and they might have been through some grape alcohol and some merging with grape alcohol and water. Finally, what is your opinion on using coffee enemas to help in detoxing? I noticed they used in the Gerson therapy. You know, I'll just say this real quick, Peter, because I've had these on tons of videos here. I'm not in favor of coffee enemas, and I just have it on the last 2 videos, matter of fact, Peter. No way. You guys get away from the concept of stimulants, and that you think some coffee enema is going to miraculously pull a cancerous tumor out of you. You got another thing coming. And, you know, again, remember duality. And when you have a stimulant, you have innervation. Stimulation, innervation. They're opposite sides of the same coin. So if that's what the best we've come up with is the Gerson thinking, we haven't gotten very far. They've been around a long time. I remember them way back. And I've disagreed with them all along, even with the A's and the beta-carotenes and things. But then the FDA did come down on that. I mean, if you don't get in, if you don't understand that cancer isn't a disease and you're battling some foreign entity and you get over that thinking, and you realize that life inside the body is just cells and 2 fluids, and the 2 fluids are daily traveling to feed and clean the cells. If you keep it simple and understand that, and that there's only 2 sides of chemistry, and that the blood dominance is on the base side and the lymph dominance is on the acid side, because the lymph deals with the acids and base more alkalis. Although there's alkalis in lymph, it's essential that lymph deal with the acid side of chemistry. As if you study and look at this and just think this out, you can't change the pH of the blood. That's why monkeying with the blood, with chelation and all this other stuff, dangerous practice. And look at this. I was just talking to a lady about this yesterday, about the Keegan and all these waters that are in the 9 pHs or above. Not healthy. You know, whoever thought that out and would put that out there needs to really, and this is the problem. You have half thinkers. Whoever created that had a good idea maybe, but at not 9 pH. You know, you can't try to get rid of alkalosis by creating alkalosis. That's not the answer. Balanced chemistry is the answer, and the balance is to the base side. You know, I've said this to you before. If you had 1 day good, 1 day bad, 1 day good, 1 day bad, you still wouldn't want to be here. Because even if you had everything the same, where acid was the same as base, you couldn't survive it. Where bad is the same as good. 1 day things horrible happen to you, the next thing's good, the next thing's bad. You still wouldn't like it here. Too much bad. The dominance in creation has to be predominantly on the base side, on the alkaline side, on the happy positive side, to want to even have existence here. And this is probably the most balance between where the scale slides so far negative. There's areas in the higher, can I use the word heavens, that you don't perceive that negative aspect. You've moved away, particularly out of the causal worlds. You then move into the universal mind. And thank God, that's such a nirvanic experience. And there you don't feel the subtleness of the negative is not felt well. The duality is almost completely eliminated at these levels. It's still there, still separation between the creator and its creation, but still. Not like here. Whew, man. This is from Tanya. She says, I am 229 pounds and only 5'4". Well, honey, 5'4", you know, I don't know. You know, I always think pituitary when I see shorter heights like this. Now, the pituitary can come, slam the thyroid, slam the parathyroid, slam the adrenals, although adrenals are always down in people. I don't care if that was something you just you took that on and realized that, and you always hit someone's adrenal glands. You would never go wrong. You never hurt anybody that way. I was not always big, not at all. I was the skinny one in our family, and this is common. You see that a lot, particularly if she was skinny back then. What might you conclude then? 5'4", definitely pituitary, but you might also conclude she might have had some malabsorption. Because you can obviously get real skinny with malabsorption. Can you then become obese? Absolutely. Take that thyroid down a little bit from the pituitary, take those adrenals down, and you've got sugar metabolism and slow metabolism. So now you've got metabolism that's slow, so you don't digest very well because digestion is slowed down to a crawl. You know, when you have hypothyroidism, 1 meal a day is all you really need because you don't metabolize fast. The pace of metabolism, thyroid. But the adrenals are always at obesity, always adrenals, and that's sugar metabolism. And that includes simple sugars too. I had 4 children and still wasn't overweight. However, a serious bout of dealing with hard times in life led me to eat my emotions. Well, that tells you right there, probably your adrenals are the most cooperative part of that. I had quit all other forms of addiction to cope, cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, etc., and turned to food. Yeah, I know it. I also became a vegetarian over 10 years ago. That's pretty good. See, you did good within that. And a vegan since August. You're doing good. I know this sounds shallow, but it was for my body's sake and not so much the animal rights. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, animals are just like we are. We come, we go. This planet, we're brought in to be eaten. We're brought in to do this. We're brought in to do that. Okay. Not, of course, food for us, and that's our problem, is we focused on raising animals to kill, and it's like, what? You know, I mean, man set himself up good if he was a carnivore. You know, a carnivore could wish they had it so good. The problem is, man isn't a carnivore. I know this, which I do believe in very much. Yeah, I do too. I started throwing up I started throwing up whenever I cooked or tasted meat. Yeah, I do when I walk in a grocery store and I can smell the meat. I have to walk by the raw meat section. I don't look and I can smell. And it grosses me out to see slabs of blood and red meat, or even fish for that matter, to see a dead tissue hanging there for some Homo sapien to devour. Ugh. Then later she got rid of milk, then eggs. Now with any dairy for the past few years, it tears me up. Now with any dairy for the last few years, it tears me up. So I just quit eating it. No kidding. Dairy is so bad, I can't even overstate it. I know I had major Candida. I have nearly every symptom. My husband too. Well, you know, use a parasite M, stay on it for a few months, clean yourself out of that. But you got to fix your adrenals, sweetheart, because sugar metabolism is controlled by the adrenals. That's where you get the weight. But then you also tend to go fermentation and bring the fungus in the family. You know, we're more fungused up because of the grain eating than anything else, the complex sugar and grain eating. You know, our body can't deal with fermentation and putrefaction well. I mean, we don't have as long a bowels as herbivores, which definitely you would never want to create fermentation or putrefaction as least as possible. That's why the 2 stomachs, you know, that's why all of this is designed, because that's when it goes downhill. So when you look at hoof and mouth and mad cow and all that, to me, you can go right back to when man decided to feed herbivores animals. I'm still freaked out at that. I still just can't get that farmers would actually start, or even probably the farmers didn't, probably the feed producers, you know, started using Down syndrome cattle and ground those up and put it into the cattle feed for feed. What? I mean, it's just bizarre. But I think that on one side, it shows you how low that man has become and lost his spirituality. He lost the awareness of who he is, and that he's digging in manure beds. What? I have migraines about every 2 months, sore joints, flatulence, cannot stay asleep to save my life. Okay, so you know what? Here we got a 5'4". We got a pituitary. Now she doesn't sleep well, so where can we go with that one? Almost right next door to the pineal gland, can't we? So it's not a stretch to think that this poor lady has got the pituitary down, the pineal down, good chance she's got the thyroid and parathyroid down too, just because the pituitary's down. You know the adrenals are going to be down. There's no sake here. She has night sweats, which means her kidneys are down. She has cold hands, which means her thyroid is down, and feet, and sometimes my nose. Anxiety to beat the band, so her adrenals are down. So here, she's just telling yourself what's wrong with yourself. And once you guys get to identify these symptoms, you'll be good at that. And you'll just know what glands you need to take, glandular you need to take, or what herbs you need to take, but always detoxify. Spend some time in the world of detoxification, because it's a fun world. You feel good. Your spirituality soars. What's not to like? Some of you have to dig deeper, Jermaine. Dig deeper. You know, go on some water fast, go on some grape fast, do these things. Those of you that know your lymph system's a mess, from me or us, or you've got your eyes done, then you've got all the tools you need, but the mind likes the but word. And as soon as you say but, you lost yourself. Depression. Uh-oh. Which gland's down there? Parathyroids. So here we got pituitary's down, pineal's down, thyroid's down, parathyroid's down, adrenals are down. All your endos are down, honey. So you got to get them up, get them cooked on. Getting the pituitary up, though, can kick over and hit the thyroid and parathyroid if they're not independently weak, genetically speaking. Getting the adrenals is one on itself. Memory loss. Yeah, you want to be careful, because so much is going on up here, sweetheart, that you could be one of those that get brain lesions, flip yourself into MS or whatever, get memory loss, so you get early Alzheimer's and dementia type things. Constantly tired, that can be adrenals basically, but thyroid can make you that way. And what feels like fibromyalgia, hypoglycemia, to the point where I have passed one more than once. Well, you're going to have fibromyalgia because your adrenals and kidneys are down, so you are going to have systemic acidosis. Hypoglycemia because your adrenals are down, that's blood sugar, and that shows you why you're fighting weight, is you're having blood sugar metabolism problems. Adrenal glands, that linked right there to anxiety. Your depression's linked right there to the parathyroid, cold hands and feet to the thyroid. Shortness of, do you have the bleeding, or was that the one before that? Okay. Among other symptoms, I desperately want to be a raw vegan. I keep trying. Well, keep trying. You guys don't give up, and don't get upset if you can't always do raw. It's a trip changing your conditioned states. It's a trip getting beyond your mind. It's a trip getting beyond the conditioning that this planet did to you. It's a trip, because this planet wants you to stay. You know, life here wants you to stay and spin and spin and create and create. That's the nature of creation. For those that want to wake up out of that eternal creation crap, and you want to become more the creator of your own worlds and be in worlds that you created yourself, just to give you a little insight to where you can go, you've got to conquer this one. You've got to be able to control the mind. Because how can you control your universe if you can't control your universe here that's already created for you? So you have to learn how to control this universe and those things that come to you. When to close that mind off, when to say, okay, what's the thought? Because you pretend your mind is a messenger that you send to get your information that you need, because your mind has to go to the Akashic Records and look it up. Your mind has to look at the libraries to look it up, I'm telling you. So all you have to do is send your mind on there and forget it. It'll come back and tell you. You know, we don't always have to follow our mind where it goes. I mean, these are little things, but I can tell you that the working on overcoming the mind control of your consciousness, of your attention, is everything. That's why you have to work with the desireless state. Quit wanting things for a while. Spend a year of your life eating raw. You don't want anything. You're totally happy. You bask in the sun and in God. Live in the present moment. You don't want to think. Become a little kid again. And enjoy yourselves. And be happy. You know, and hug others. You know, and give love, because what you give, you get many times back. You've heard that talked about in all religions, basically. But it's true. You can't give anger and then expect nothing but anger back at you. It's just creation and the way it is. If you want love and you want romance and you want beauty, then you must become that which you want to experience. And then you will draw that to you. Yet my money situation coupled with massive cravings make it very difficult to stay raw. Here's the thing. Parasite M or some other type of herbal, antifungal type of formula, stay on it for a couple of months. At the same time, you got to fix your adrenal glands, because as long as you have fermentation produced in the body, you're going to always bring in fungus. That's nature. Can't get away from it. You don't want to get away from it, and you can't get away from it. So just understand that. Fix your adrenal glands. You got to get your lymph cleaning anyway. That'll help pull out fungus even more. If you got sulfur in your body, get it out. But it might take a few weeks, but it'll curb your cravings totally. Soon as you take this enough, and I'd probably hit my body hard. I'd probably do 3 capsules, or I would do a dropper and a half of the tincture 3 or 4 times a day if you felt like you were really involved with high Candida things, or really hit it hard. What was her name? It came to me the other day, and she had a parasitic kill. It was, she did like the wormwood, but you did almost like 20 capsules a day on that. She's passed now, but I can't remember her name. She was. I watched a ton of your videos, and that has kept me from my crack, aka bread. That's a fungal thing, and that's the thing. At least when you do the bread, try to get the alkaline grain at the very least, like the millets, and you keep working on the Candida. The other side of this is, though, you try to, if you can shift to corn crackers, even would be better. That nobody digests it anyway, but at least you're more in a base scenario, and you're not so much into the grain scenario. I've just been eating fruit and cooked vegetables at night for a week or so. Wow. What really bothers me is that I eat better than anyone I know, and I'm so overweight. I am miserable. Well, you've got some glands that are down, honey. These glands control everything. So don't compare yourself to someone else. That's not fair. So what you got to do is fix these glands, and you'll take that weight right off. Stay raw, or you don't have to even stay all raw to lose weight. But you should stay all fruits, berries, melons, and vegetables. Steamed, that sort of thing. If you need to cheat, do a baked sweet potato. Doesn't have the fattening as a white potato. So things like that can help you. Do your dried fruits maybe for sweetness, like raisins, dates, or figs. Things like that for the cravings like that. The other night I actually slept for 9.5 hours, and I was literally screaming and singing. Yeah, I bet. With delight, because that only happens maybe once a year, and that's your pineal gland. You can get a pineal glandular. Take 2, about an hour to 2 hours before you go to bed. But you got to get up in your head, sweetheart, and detox your sinuses in your head. Get your lymph moving, clean up your bowels so you can clean the head out. Get your kidneys filtering so you can do all those things, filter. And key, and start cleaning yourself out and rebuilding get your pituitary back online, get your pineal online. You'll sleep like a baby. Get these acids, these irritators out of your body, and you'll be well. It's sad that you have to have one night like that and it feels so good, and then the rest. So get yourself to Wellville Station. I wake up on and off all night and cannot go back to sleep because my mind won't stop racing. Absolutely. Get that pineal gland. Do some meditation, too, to quiet that mind. Get behind that mind. I have been through so much crap in my life, as most have, and lately it just makes me someone I don't want to be. Now, honey, you know what? You have the power to change yourself. You don't have to have anybody control the way you think. You were given a body genetically at birth, and now you have to deal with that. So we're giving you all the tools to deal with that. I mean, you did come across us here, and we help you get rid of your karma. And this is exactly how you get rid of it. You have to deal with this, and you have to deal with it because your past lives have brought you to that point. You're not experiencing anything you don't already know you had to. And you have to go through this, and you need to conquer this, obviously, to move on to the next step. So just dig in. We have all the answers for you, enough to get you anywhere you want to go. Maybe not all the answers of the universe, of course, but we have enough answers for you to get you anywhere you want to go health-wise. Might take you a 6 months or a year, okay. But you want to be with yourself always. It's not your body as you like. And the bodies, I don't like my body either. Our bodies, I hate bodies. But we got them. You got to learn the rules of the game and rules of chemistry, physics, how all that works simplistically, and fix them. Don't spend too much time involved in health. People are spending way too much time. And you know why? Because they don't have the answers. So they're out there seeking everywhere for the answers. They try vitamins. They try minerals. They try all these supplements. And then, it's a nightmare. And people are confused. They don't know where to go. And that's why you guys are vital. You have the answers. It will always work. Even though you might have to work some people slowly, faster, deeper, less deep, keep playing that hold 'em fold 'em syndrome, the art of detoxification. Okay, but well-bill is yours if you want it. God consciousness is yours if you want it. Matter of fact, there's nothing you can do but keep yourself hidden from it. But you can't be away from it. It's you, but you can hide from it. I feel I'm losing my mind sometimes. Good. Get rid of it. Get your mind and put it away somewhere. Yeah, you don't need it. You're not your mind, your consciousness, your awareness. You're the God force here. The mind is just a tool, just a little librarian, if you will. I guess I just need help, advice, something. I am a great person inside. I know, of course you are, sweetheart. I know where I want to be, and who I want to be will be who you want to be. No matter what your body looks like, no matter what size your body is, no matter what your mind, get outside of that. These are cars, these are automobiles, these are vehicles you're using. It isn't you. Connect to the you and love the you. You can change your body. You got all the tools you need. The Facebook has got all your beautiful practitioners now on Facebook, all you great spiritual beings out there helping and turning into your own businesses. I'm like a peacock. You guys are just, I'm proud of each and every one of you. And even if you get caught up in Candida, we're here to help you fix all those things. Don't get upset. Just go back, go slow, take a deep breath, get your spirituality, pull back from the mind. Don't let the mind's going to always want to pull you to unhappiness, to depression, to saying you're not good enough. It's always going to take you away from yourself. That's its job. It's not yourself. So get a hold of that mind. And the only way you can get a hold of the mind is quit using it. Make sense? And how you use the mind is thinking. Desiring. That's the mind and emotions are so close together you can't hardly tell one from the other, but they're separate, distinct universes, worlds, and separate and distinct bodies. Again, okay. So anyway, thanks, Tanya. Tanya, thanks a lot, sweetheart. Hit it hard. You're going to do well. You're a beautiful soul. You're just going to lose some weight and get your body in shape. All right, you got all the answers here. Takes a little time, but you'll do it. And you know you can do it. You can do anything you want. Any of you can do anything you want. You're the God force here. You're the, look at where you come from. It's just, do you want to do it here? Hey, you, Mr. Morse. Love your work on the YouTube. Thank you. David. Hey, David. My neighbor. I raised up with a German neighbor named David. He's a state judge now, I think. I have been watching your videos for about a year now and have been gaining thanks, man. 24 years old. You know what? All you teenagers and 20-year-olds, I love you guys. You guys, you got my help anytime you need it. You guys really have to pull yourself up from genetics and toxemia that our world is giving your bodies you're coming in here with, and so it's just, I think, that huge opportunity to grow spiritually, because you're just like the lady before you. She has to let go to conquer this. And it can take her into turmoil so bad that finally she just gives up. And the minute you give up, the minute you let go, you're home. That's the whole point. The same thing with out-of-body travel. Remember this when you're practicing to have out-of-body travels. Don't try. Because when you try, you can't have one. But the minute you just totally let go, you're out. Because you are your attention. You and your attention or your awareness or your intelligence or your consciousness can't be separated. There's no body. There's no other body to take that away. That is your home. What dims that light, what dims your awareness of who you are and all that is time, energy, matter, and space. Creation, duality, the illusion thereof, the game, the drama, the soap opera. Quit playing, and you awaken. Now, this is a 24-year-old male, and I have a past of being really sick at least 4 times a year. 4 times a year, this 24-year-old lad it gets sick. I would always get fevers. Now, what is the advantage of a fever? And I'll say this for all medical doctors that are listening to this, which, sorry for beating you guys up so much, but, you know, you guys got to get your act together, as so much as we all do. But fevers, what is the value of a fever, and what part of the body do you notice that mostly affecting? The skin, sweating, and obviously there's a reason for that, isn't there? What's the skin? Oh, your third kidney, your largest eliminative organ you have. And what does your kidneys eliminate? Oh, acid, waste, and byproducts from cells and bacterium and stuff, right? Damaged cells that have been broken down by macrophages, blah, blah, blah. Yeah! Yeah, there you go. See what I'm saying? But fevers, vital. When you start, you guys on Facebook now, when you start detoxifying the children, the younger they are, the closer to 104 and 105 degree fevers these children like. So I like 103. Although there is fever therapy for cancer that's 107, because the claim of cells is 100. You kill healthy cancer cells at 109 and healthy cells at 111 or something like that. I really don't like over 103. So when children get up to 104, 105, I keep a cool washcloth of the head, the nape of the neck, or a cool bath. But they're going to want to go there every time. It's just nature. Just like their heart rate tends to be a little higher, respiration, just initially things are a little different in the children. So fevers are essential. The problem is people have a hard time getting fevers, and the stupidity of it all is medical doctors fear fevers. Remember George Bush was in there and they weren't going to let him out till they got a hold of the fever, and the same thing with the guy that just passed over in Africa, Nelson Mandela. You never try to stop fevers. Most people die from medical intervention of trying to stop and treat and everything else than ever does of a cold and flu or anything else. People just don't die from those things. And if you know the appropriate way to deal with one, I can't even imagine. These are healing crises. Nobody dies from friggin' healing crisis unless it's so traumatic and no one is there to understand it and maybe help it. But the body doesn't kill itself like that. It'll take it to the brink sometimes, that's for sure. But you want fevers. In fact, if your client isn't getting fevers, you got to work on their thyroid gland, because you want that basal temperature to be up in the upper 97s, because you need fevers. Because your job is to get these wastes, these acids, these neurotoxins, all this crap, whether it's aluminum, mercury, lead, cadmium, who cares? Well, it doesn't matter what it is. The acids from cells, carbonic, lactic, uric, it doesn't matter. All these things have to be eliminated out of the eliminative organs for those wastes. And where's the eliminative organs for those wastes? Pooperino, eliminate all that for me? No. Well, how else do I get rid of waste? I don't know. Spit. Bronchitis and strep throat-like symptoms. Okay, so when you detoxify, David, you might have a little bronchitis or something going on here, but you want to get that out of there. Because by not getting all this mucus and congestion out of here, that's how you form masses in the lungs. And, of course, this all backs up and you start popping tumors on the neck, blah, 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 blah. And you're probably going to have a real sore throat, by the way, when you detoxify. And even if you lose your voice, I mean, it's just detoxification. Ride the Bronco, baby. But every time they tested me for strep, I came up negative because it isn't about a bacteria. See? I mean, this David shows a good example here, guys, where it isn't the world of bacteria. It's kind of like pneumococcus. Pneumonia is blamed on pneumococcus, yet in 40 to 50% of the cases of pneumonia, there's no pneumococcus present. Wait a minute here. Wait. If you're telling me that staph throat is from staph, or you're telling me pneumonia is from pneumococcus, yet in 40 to 50% of the cases there are no pneumococcus present or staph present, then how can that be the cause of it? See what I'm saying? This is mucus. And mucus is acid. I mean, all that's acid. It's inflammatory. It causes sore throats. But you can have a real sore throat, a big wad of mucus, and pretty soon your sore throat's all gone. Oh my God, you mean it was just that big mucus in that throat that was causing all that pain? Yeah. It's like tonsils, full of mucus, lymph nodes. Lymph is mucus. You got to read Arnold Ehret. It'll be very helpful to you guys. But here's a good example Dave's bringing forth here, showing that these conditions aren't bacteria related. And the only time you find bacteria is when you find sewage, the terrain, the culturing medium. When you're looking for acids and things, you'll find the bacteria community there. They're there to help you, although some can be gnarly. They gave me the antibiotics away, of course. And I was diagnosed with asthma. Okay, so if you were diagnosed with asthma and it was truly asthma, then we talked about that yesterday on a video, how the neurological system is involved. This, Dave, will pull you down to your adrenal glands. You're a young man anyway, so you know your adrenals are involved in kidneys. So anybody 20 years old, 30 years old, 40, everybody, fix your kidneys and adrenals and your lymph system. And I'm telling you, there ain't nothing you can't get rid of. And a mutated body that's all twisted and turned. Look at the beautiful YouTubers out there that have bodies that were all twisted and turned from acidosis. Then that's now untwisting and turning. That's walking for the first time. We've been doing this for 40 years. I've been doing this. That's why I know where you're going to go. I know where you can go. Some go quicker than others because others are more toxic. Some are more chronic in their involvement than others. Some, the glands are down in their thinking a lot worse than others. Yes. That's the differences of us. But anatomy and physiology of us are pretty much the same, except for extracted tissue by our friends. I started eating more raw foods a couple of years ago and have had my good months and bad months. There was a popular time when I first started and went 100% raw for about a month, then ate some bad foods for a little bit. But when I went back on the raw, I got very sick when I couldn't move for a couple of days. Well, this is the problem. And you might see some of that, what Dave's bringing out here, a little tug of war. You know, because sometimes you do so good that when you go off, it can kick your hiney bad, you know, and I've seen that. Once you get that, and Dimitri, you're a good example of that, breaking that 42-day fast, and look at what happened to you. You got everybody breaking up and running for the door, and then suddenly you stop. You got all these people broken up and running for the door, but then you stop. That can create issues as well, as you saw. So this is the sort of thing is that try to keep as focused as much as possible, but when you go off, come back. Try not to go off as far if you can help it. Come back a little bit. You know, the less you go off, the less you get your butt kicked. But still, I can speak. I've had my butt kicked a lot of times. You know, if we get away from the perfectionist syndrome and quit judging each other, we'll all do well. Because does it really matter in the fine analyses? These things are laid down and burned for the most part. Come on. I mean, the reality is reality. Get to that. That's who you are. That's that gigantic being that I see out there and all you guys, the angelic beings that are on this site. That's what you all are to me, are angelic beings here to grow and become angelic in your presence, but also to help others fulfill their angelic beingnesses. Absolutely. There was a particular time, really bad fever symptoms. Well, Dave is at that point where you got a gentleman here that is so backed up lymphatically, so much mucus, that he could explode, figuratively speaking, of course, on a detox. He could go right into it. Some people, you'll notice that you put them on, say, a detox herbal program along with your raw foods. They don't have any symptoms for months. And you go, well, you see them getting better, but they don't really have any healing crisis. Then others, the night they start the herbs, they go into a healing crisis. And Dave, you sound like that person that just the body needs so bad what you're doing. When your body is so backed up that when you start on raw and you start having fevers and you start having, the expression of swellings and things, your body was on the brink and that you needed to do this badly, because most people don't have that experience, although I'd like to see that. But I don't want to see people that's so bad, that they have a rough time. But I'd like to see some healing crisis quicker. But I think that's a tribute to the way we've set up our detox kits. We open the kidneys now. We're trying to open everything together. When we weren't focusing so much on the kidneys, and when you detoxify, you're ignoring your eliminative organs of detoxification, except for the GI tract. And you can't burden that with everything because everything won't go there. You'll start going down with a UTI or something because these kidneys are just stagnant. And so really important to work on these. And see, he went into a bad fever and heavy coughing, as I always do when I am sick. Well, you're going to have to work through this one, Dave. Get yourself sick again here on the raw foods and have a good sick. You got to. You can't stop being sick until you go through it. It's just that you're in the process of expectorating. The fever is important to make you sweat, to expectorate. You're doing everything, your body's doing everything, my friend, that it needs to do to get you to Wellville. Some people can't even sweat. That's not good. They have the worst time. Those that can sweat are in much better position here. So, no. You're going to have to go through this. There's no not going through these type of symptoms and getting to Wellville. That's why when you start seeing these sore throats and these bronchitises and they freak you out, then relate that to milk the next time you start to put a glass of milk, some ice cream or cheese up to your face. Think about what you have to go through to eliminate what you're putting in there. I do. Is it worth it? Most of the time, no. So, Dave, you're just doing what you need to do. You got to go through this. You got to ride the Bronco. There's no sailing in on a surfboard. Although there's some people that do. I won't say that. There's some freaking people that have strong constitutions. Their family never got them hooked on milks, and they just sail on a surfboard right into Wellville. But that's not most people. I started feeling better, but the craziest thing happened. I lost my sense of smell for a month. Yeah. It was so weird because I could breathe fine and taste food, but could not smell. Yeah, but that'll come back. That's a common thing. Matter of fact, how intense do you really want to smell? Here's the thing. When you start dumping your sinuses and everything, your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, all these attributes go way up. Remember I told you that I started smelling again when I first went into this raw food regimen? I didn't realize I'd been, all this congestion and all the nose drops. I couldn't smell. And I started smelling these pine trees because I was living in the woods in pine forest. And I'm going, oh my God, I love the smell of these trees. And then I realized I've been smelling by memory. When I see a pine tree, I remembered how it smelled, and I was smelling by memory, not by actually smelling. And it was nirvanic. The reason God has the senses here is so it can experience its flavors, its smells, and so it can, ride with these differences of itself. But the negative forces comes in and nips. If we can keep those two at bay, but enjoy the beauty and the flavors, then fine. If you're going to go have some Indian food, enjoy it to the max. Remember that old saying, if you're going to cheat, enjoy it to the max? Because if you don't, you're not going to digest it well. You're going to fight it in here. Enjoy it to the max, but who's in control? All right? You are in control. Enjoy that because you love that flavor. You want to enjoy that experience. And then ride with whatever, how it kicks your butt. You know? And then the more it kicks your butt, maybe the next time, maybe I'll wait another day and do this. You know, and you just ride with that. Because that you're going to have that problem the rest of your lives probably. Very few people are not tempted when they walk into an Indian restaurant or some restaurant where they smell all the spices and stuff. You know, for those ladies, poor ladies or men who have to cook and their significant others on raw or they're on raw, but they have to cook for their wife or husband or significant other or whatever. I feel sorry. There's so many of those people out there. It's so sad. One guy I'm working on, his wife's got gallstones and he's got a load of problems, and I've seen it in him, but I've just really never said much to him. But then his wife, they want to remove her gallbladder for gallstones, and I have her taking care of all that stuff. She won't have to have her gallbladder removed now and all that. But he's got a list of problems, and of course she's all raw and on fruit basically. And then he's a diabetic, high blood pressure, all kinds of things. And he said, "Do I have to eat the same food she does?" Absolutely, Jason. Absolutely. I lost my sense. Oh, yeah, where am I here? Okay. I should go to a doctor. Let's see. My coworkers thought I should go to a doctor, but I knew that it must have been something detox related. Yeah, absolutely. So I stayed on my high raw diet, and one day I opened my fridge and could smell. I was wondering, and it can get real strong too. I was wondering if you have ever heard of this. Absolutely. And it can get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. Matter of fact, it's easy to get your smell back. But if you look at the average person, they lost their smell. Most people smell by memory. Think about it. See if you really smell. Nope. No dead animals here. Also, when I save up enough money, I want to start taking, get on the herbs, especially the Fab 4, you know. In my bronchitis and asthma, you want to really clean the, you just get the tea. Get the 3-lung tea and the Hill All tea and mix them up and have fun with just the tea. It's cheap. You can get through that. Or you know, get bulk herbs and play with that. Thanks again for everything. Oh, thanks, David. Yeah, have fun, David. Kind of go through, obviously, some healing crises here. You know, that's the nature of the beast. Oh, thanks. Who is this? Oh, this is Ern Scott, Fort Bragg, California. Hey, young man. Yeah, I appreciate that. I love you too, man. Short background, I discovered you last June when a strong new interest in eyes and eye color came up, which immediately led me to iridology and delving into what my body was wanting to communicate with me. Oh, excellent. I love that. What a great little science. I mean, say what you want, but what a great little science to take a look at the inner workings of the human body. I love it. I mean, it just makes you fall in love. And I just wish you would see that in the medical community, of falling in love with God again. And the shoving of pharmaceuticals up the pharmaceutical buttai. And the movement toward botanicals and homeopathics and things like that. You know? Big, huge change. Come join us, medical, and we will conquer this world and make everybody strong and healthy and throw down your guns and hug. When you're feeling good and you got smiles on your face, how can you hurt someone else? I watched many of your videos. At that time, I knew iridology from years before, but I was powerfully thrust back into it. Oh, cool beads. And into my eyes last June. I've been wanting to write you since then. Oh, wow. Health problem. The time was no accident and totally aligned, as I'm sure you can imagine. So what they do. As my body was actively going through many things last year and was attempting to speak to me. Yeah. A month after I took these photos, I don't have any photos, my body virtually wholly broke down. From diverticulitis to massive infection to heart and lung issues to weaknesses to pains emerging throughout my abdomen to skin and hair problems. See how it's systemic, head to toe. Hit this guy, head to toe. You have a system down. And the system down is easy to determine. The lymphatic system, the acid system. See how you guys got it down? Absolutely. Health background. He's 47 years old. He's a vegetarian at 19. You got to commend this soul. This soul at 19 knew he wanted to get away from dead animals. Pretty good, man. Shows your spirituality. Sometime from 29, Candida eruption and full-on food allergies at 34. Well, what's going on? Obviously, your kidneys, your lymph is backing up more and more. You see the systemic hit of acidosis here with the hair loss and all this thing's going on. And as you're going down, the allergies are kicking up because you're getting more acidic, more congested, more that whole 9 yards. And all of that is allergy alley. You get that system cleaned up, which is your main immune system, which is your lymph system, and no allergies there. Except that your body might not like something because of the vibration of it and the chemistry of it, not from the fact that your body's kind of full with toxins here. Inconsistent with yoga, running, walking, have been relatively healthy, steady throughout my life until mid-30s. I've been called to raw foods for several years now, and it was screaming at me since last January. Yeah, I know what you mean. Health now. I've been high vegan, high raw since the breakdown in early August. My energy and health have improved, but far from ideal yet. I lost 20 pounds. But I had held a plateau. I've reincorporated more cooked foods this winter, but it's cold. But once you turn that bin of the winter, plow into it, baby. Absolutely. You can see from my eyes that many issues are present. I don't have a picture of your eyes, bro. I have a picture of your eyes, man. Poopycock. Questions. What details do you glean from these photos? Well, the first thing is I can't see them because I don't have the photos. Can I clear the cholesterol build up in my eyes? Absolutely. And you'll want to. If you got cholesterol build up, man, you want to get that out of there. You're 47? He's 47 right now with cholesterol buildup, but that's what I'm saying to you guys. And that's my concern about you 19 and 20-year-olds. Even you're younger than that. All the way up here is ending up at 47 with dementia, Alzheimer's, strokes, and heart attacks, where it hit the 60s and 70-year-olds. No, you guys are walking down that road so much quicker. That's why I'm doing this. We've got to turn this around. This guy here is, having that cholesterol. Remember, when you see cholesterol, your adrenal steroids are down, your adrenals are down, you're not filtering. Instead of fighting acids with the steroids, you're fighting acids with cholesterol or calcium, or both. It's a given. Are my eyes hazel or brown? Yeah, I don't know yet, man. You might have to resubmit this to me and send me the eyes again. Eye photos coming separately. Well, if they have them, I'll be going over them anyway because they haven't stuck them in the eye thing because we're going to go over the eyes for you. Thank you in advance, Robert. Thank you, my friend. Thanks, Erwin. Thank you. I come across your eyes. I was trying to remember your name here on that and see what I can come up with. But until then, hit your body. Go to get the kidneys filtering. Number 1, get your kidneys filtering. Get your adrenals up. You have to get your adrenals up to get your kidneys filtering. So really, probably should say get your adrenals up first and get your kidneys filtering with that. Go after those kidneys. Go after the bowels. Go after the lymph system. Clean up the lungs and sinuses. They're going to come clean. Please see Jen B. or Chris. Oh. It says please see Jen or Chris, so I'm going to go ahead. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, I don't know whether to read this or not read that. I guess it doesn't say not to read this, so I'm going to read this. This is from Gina. Hello, this is Gina again, and I am updating an earlier email. My father, after lying several times and threatening my partner, and police came to my residence and forcibly took me to the hospital, did a full-body CAT scan, and are going to operate on me tomorrow or start chemo. Oh. I have stated clearly to all that this is completely against my will. I am afraid but protected. Only a miracle by God's grace will let me heal from all this. Sorry to be in these shoes, but not resentfully. I feel like this is best to update my question. Thank you, Gina. My name is Gina. Jesus Christ. My name is Gina. I am 17 and have an orange-sized tumor seated in the muscle of my right calf. I want to thank you for your work and words and your faith and knowledge. I have been, I suppose, searching for God and my heart's voice over the past years. Having left home to live independently for a year, among many things that have happened, I am facing again with this cancer diagnosis the pressure of fear internally and externally from doctors and parents, etc. Oh, I just love these sad ones. Oh, shit. Now, first of all, that's the beauty of black salve, is to pull these friggin' tumors the size of an orange. I don't know. It's California oranges or Florida oranges? I mean, that's why the black salve, guys. That's why the beauty of the black salve, FDA. Because you're going to give this 17-year-old chemo. I mean, I almost become ungrounded anymore because of what's going on. The killing fields, I call them. So you can pull that tumor out of her calf with black salve. At the same time, you're getting her kidneys to filter, and you're going to pull that lymph out of that leg and get that to move through her kidneys. And you can pull that tumor while you're doing that if it's an emergency need to pull that tumor. If not, let that tumor go down as you're moving it through the kidneys. This girl should be on a great fast right now. Problem is, her parents are freaking and she's going to be extended. The problem is, this girl's parents are going to end up killing her if she's not careful. Sorry, Gina, I didn't need to put it in that way. But this is what parents do. They're stupid. They get stupid. They pull the fear button. The problem is, it's ignorant fear. So then what they do is they send their children into chemo world. They send their children to have battery acid put in them. That's okay until their kid dies, and then they start thinking, you know, it's like, please, you know, parents, you got to wake up with your kids. You're killing your kids. And sometimes you don't have a choice because they come get you. Like they come got Gina, 17 years old. She couldn't determine her own way. 17 years old, we need to move that age down to 15 or 16. I hate to read stuff like this. Just makes you want to grab the parents by the throat and say, get a life. You brought this beautiful woman in the planet, now you're trying to destroy it because they don't know. It's ignorant fear. And that's just what they thrive on. That's what the negative forces thrive on, is ignorant fear. The more ignorant you are, the more fear we can build up, the more we're going to control you. Sad stuff. Sad stuff. Don't have to be this way. The story behind the mass starts in August, doesn't matter. I can tell you it just doesn't matter. Pull that tumor out with black salve, get your kidneys filtering, it'll clean the rest of it out, but your whole side, whichever side this is on, that whole side's involved, lymphatically speaking, because that kidney's down. That's the only reason you have a tumor in that leg, is that kidney on that side isn't filtering. And the knee will go, the hip will go, the breast will go, the shoulder will go, everything on that side. You'll pop ovarian cysts on that side, the whole 9 yards. After having severe poison ivy rashes all over my body, particularly on this leg, while the poison ivy healed over a month ago and a half, the tumor and inflammation around it was swollen and painful, and I could not walk for some time. That's because plant acids, it's kind of like using stinging nettle. We used to use stinging nettle to inflame or irritate the skin as a form of healing. I don't use that methodology, but that's what some herbalists would do. is blister the skin, would try to get that. But that's just acid on top of acid, and I don't go that way of thinking. You know, but so when you see poison ivy that bad, you know her lymph system is that bad. But then she's sitting there with a tumor. What system would you blame for that? None. It's the lymph system. That's why the poison ivy was so bad on her. Thinking it to be a reaction to poison ivy, I did not look at it very closely. The mass went away to the point I could not tell what it was there. And you'll be able to get this thing out of there pretty easy. Around this time, I was eating mostly raw foods with a period of fasting on water for 10 days. Then you'll be able to get this tumor out real easy. And yet they're going to force her into chemo or force her down a road that's not going to be good. I think she should get an attorney at 17 and disavow her parents and everyone else and get herself free. Because if not, she's putting her hands in a killing machine. Parents, wake up. Look at the statistics of death from chemo. Start investigating for yourself. Don't just send your daughter to the slaughterhouse. That's what these things can get me. These things can actually unbalance me, and I try not to. But I try to be detached. But here's a beautiful 17-year-old now that can get this. She went on raw and a water fast. The tumor almost went away. What does that tell you? What does Gina have to do now to finish that up? She didn't finish it up. She should have finished it up. Got that tumor out, got the kidneys filtering, and she's done. The mass went away, let's see, with a point. I was eating mostly raw foods with a period of a few months later, the tumor grew up to the size of 5 inches at the biggest dimension. So I saw the doctor and had an MRI. After pressure from parents, I had a biopsy under CT guidance. I didn't have to get put to sleep. They call it a grade 2 synovial carcinoma. Okay, big deal. And say it's best to cut it out. Cut it out? Okay. But here is, radiate it and give chemotherapy just to be safe. Just to be freaking safe? How about, excuse me. Let me, too bad this isn't Long Island iced tea. You see why I'm a wacko? I mean, this is just sad stuff. I mean, Just yesterday, I told the doctor I would not be following his recommendations, especially the surgery scheduled for today to remove the mass with a lymph node biopsy. That's the thing. Take the mass, leave the lymph nodes. Who gives a hoot about the lymph nodes? If the cancer cell's there, perfect, it's where it should be. I need to get my kidneys filtering so I can clean my lymph node the proper way, because I'm going to need that lymph node because there's still cells on the other side of it unless you cut my leg off. Yeah. Gina, I hope you, I see why now that, please see Jen B or Chris, and see why now. Doctor told me very plainly he refuses to treat me, and if I want to die of cancer, he can't be held responsible. See the trick? If you're not going to let me cut it out or give you chemo or radiation, I'm not going to be responsible if you die. Another scare tactic. How about the fact that statistically speaking, she has a far better chance to live if she does this the right way by 90% than if she does your way with chemo and radiation, because the chemo and radiation is going to eventually pop up cancer all over the place because acids damage cells all over the place. Systemic acidosis, and your parents are willing to put her through this. That's amazing. They need to learn that there's a huge world out here in natural healing that's been here all along. This world of natural healing, we've been out here all along. It's that you have the power people that control, like the World Bank that controls. The narcissistic bastards who think they're so smarter than everyone else. The mind people. We're all intelligent. You know, we can all put round pegs in round holes. At least most of us. I don't know about Honey Boo Boo. I suppose she could. Her little RV trip last night. Yeah. Yeah. It's one thing, sweetheart, Gina, to have them cut it out. It's totally another to have them dissect a lymph node and everything else. And if you saw that on a raw food and water fasting go down to almost nothing, that's where I would be this very minute. I would be on a fruit fast. I'd be on an extended grape fast. Get in the herbs for the kidneys, the adrenals, and the lymph system at the very least. Because it's in the leg right here. It needs to come up here. It needs to clean, work your neural lymphatics, but instead of up, work them down at your tailbone here, your coccyx, and work all around that area. Work up to the kidneys and work that area really good. Start, you need to get that drainage up. In addition to, my father has shown up forcefully in my hope to try and take me to undergo treatment. There is drama in this regard, and the police may become involved. Well, the problem, Gina? 17. Might have to find yourself a lawyer and get away. This is the problem. It's one thing. This is one of what we're all facing here. Do you see why it's all so important that we get as many people on the raw and awake and aware of this as we can? Because we have to stop this killing machine. We have to get parents awake. This dad is sleeping. He doesn't realize what he's going to do to his daughter here. And he won't know until at the end. And then the medical doctors will lie like a banshee saying, just couldn't get it. Sorry, we tried. And that kind of thinking. That's, this one's getting me. Okay? This one's getting me. And we got another 4-year-old. I think I put him back on chemo. Of course, they stopped chemo after his eye started bleeding from the first chemo. It's just like you came into a world that was in extreme deep sleep. Sadness. Hearing the doctor say this on the phone was very hard, and I felt a lot of fear and sadness. Well, Gina, you call me right up when your medical doctor is a dumbass like that and tells you stuff like that. You call us up right here, and I'll give you a big hug. Because I'm here to show you another picture. Totally different picture. It can be hard to maintain hope, but I know my heart, and it's better. Boy, this little girl's got some strong will. I have become very deeply moved and inspired to heal the wounds within me and strengthen my faith after the diagnosis. For right now, I am planning to follow a specific fast on herbal teas and a specific juice. The BREUSS, I'm not familiar with that fast, for the 42-day fast. Well, I'll have to say that if you go on a 42-day water fast, that tumor ought to pull itself out of there. But during that, I'd definitely be on kidneys and things to help me filter. Or get started on it. If you don't see any reduction of the tumor within a week, then get on the herbs too, because the herbs are going to really make a big difference. And followed by keeping on my current path of fruit and vegetable. Forget the vegetable juices, sweetheart. Go fruit. Go on a 42. I'd go, if you haven't done deeper fasting like this, I'd go on a 42-day grape fast first before I did a 42-day water fast. Do a 42-day grape fast. That should mostly pull that out of there. But I would do the lymphatic, the lymph node number 5. That's all the pokes of bloods, the chaparrals. I would do that. I'd do maybe a lymphatic 1 capsules. I do the stomach and bowel, the GI broom, the kidneys, the adrenals. Get in there and move this out. At the very least, you can pull that tumor out through the leg. You'll regrow it. You'll regrow it. And if he cuts it out, it'll regrow because you have to fix why you're having the tumor. It's your kidneys. You're only 17. You know your kidneys and adrenals are down, honey. But right now, I am planning to follow, okay, Mainly, I know I want to love God above all else. You're a sweetheart. That's all I got to say. Be strong. Don't let them hurt you. Hell with the cops. Hell with all those people. Be strong, sweetheart. And get on your path and get yourself well. The fear and what the doctors say, I don't believe. Well, don't believe it. It seems that family and such will give up on me thinking without chemo and radiation. Well, you know what? You might have to take a little sabbatical, go out and get yourself well, go where they're doing the 42-day water fast, what is it, Greece or Costa Rica or whatever. Go do that or go on a grape fast, come back without the tumor and show them. Give up on me, thinking without chemo radiation. I'll be dead in some time, but I have great, great support in my life. You have one here, and that's us. More history. I'm not going to go through this anymore because I can tell you right now, Gina, there's only one way to get this out of you. It's easy for the body to get rid of that mass as it's formed. Absolutely, sweetheart. My kidneys are filtering as there is sediment in my urine, which comes out very alkaline. Well, your urine doesn't want to be alkaline. Even though there's sediment in it, you're too alkaline. Your urine needs to be acidic. So kick it up. I still say, and what you said in the first part of this, that you can get out of there pretty easy. It already went way down when you went on water and when you went on the other. So I think I have nothing but positive thinking for you to get that out of there real easy. If not, you can pull it out with the sap. But you're still going to have to go through this. You're still going to have to fix why you're forming it. So let's all hope Gina can have her peace in her way. You know, a federal judge, of course, she's 17. That's the problem, is that parents think they own you at 17, and the medical doctors think they own you at 17, and the cops think they own you at 17. Child services think they own you at 17. And, of course, your birth certificate shows you as a bastard child, so they're probably right. I mean, these people in government and in the World Bank has connived so bad around the world, and how they're using bond paper and people as money instruments. I mean, you just can't imagine the depth of, in the States, what the federal government has done to try to get rid of the private sector and that lack of jurisdiction, so they can have jurisdiction on everybody. Never seen it like that. And there's a reason. They want to give everybody chemo. And since they can't do that, they do it in the air with the chemtrails, right? I don't know. This is Alan from Long Island, New York. My question is to you about vitamin D. I know your thoughts on isolate vitamins, but I was wondering if vitamin D might be an exception. Yeah, you know, I don't have a problem with some D3 or something like that, especially in the winter and stuff like that, but I'm a sun freak. I have no problems with calcium or anything like that. I've never even thought about it. I get in the sun every chance I get. I love the sun. I play in it. I don't know why people need to supplement it, but if you need to, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with some supplementations, even though I don't consider the need for them. But some supplementations, okay. Primates in the wild are not only eating fruit, but they eat tons of sunshine. And they play 40% of the day, 30 to 40% of the day. They rest 30, 40% of the day. You see what I'm saying? We need to rest, relax, hug more, love more, help each other more. Gina's parents isn't helping her. They're not listening to her. But, Gina, you need to bring in a higher authority. You need your parents to listen to this video. Because this video I made to your parents, Gina, they need to wake up or they're not going to have Gina. And Gina, you need to get to 17 years old. That's old enough to call your own way, my opinion is. In today's world, 15-year-olds are act like 20-year-olds. I mean, it's just a different world out there. And Amsterdam feels at 15, you have the ability to make some decisions. But this country, these are young kids. They can't think on their own. I mean, this country needs a huge, massive, if we pulled all the colon therapists together and gave the United States a big, big colon therapy, that's what it needs. Yeah, I agree, since they are from tropical regions. Us northern folks, and I agree with that, you know. That's why I get in the sun as much as I can. Get virtually no sunshine for 8 months, I know. So that's why I agree with you on that respect. Absolutely, Alan. 100% in line with you. But that's just common sense, I think, you know. But it's important just to get indirect lighting, because you got full spectrum. So get indirect lighting. You know, get out and enjoy on a porch or something. Let the fresh air, deep breathe, experience some deep breathing, some contemplation, some be here now stuff, some enjoyment of indirect sun or some direct sun. You know, play with that as much as you can. But this is right. And move your butt to a subtropic or tropical region. This is from Roger. Hi, Dr. Morris. I'd like to go by the name of Alchemist. Alchemist! Well, basically, we're alchemists here, basically. Can't change silver into gold or iron into lead into gold, but the doctors are about to pull the plug on my cousin tomorrow. He is a diabetic. He's in a diabetic coma. Boy, I'd love to get a feeding tube in that boy and start working on him. with the herbs and with the juices, and just to see what you could do. I tell you, people who are in comas are still hanging around. And if you can get that body fit, to move back in there, that soul can re-inhabit that body and wake up. I mean, I don't stop. I don't let anything stop me to try to get tissue alive again. Neither do I think we should. My grandmother just passed recently as well. Oh, my God. My mother tells me that deaths happen in threes. So I'm just worried about myself. Well, deaths don't happen in threes, but there are the cycle of 3s, 7s, and 9s, and 12s, and there's all kinds of cycles within cycles within cycles, absolutely. But your time, you're going to go. But let me tell you, here's the key. See you later. I'm going to where nirvana and ecstasy and bliss is all the time, not where constipation and pain and dis-ease is. Began getting high by smoking since I was 20. I'm now 35. The cancer is in both lungs. Ooh. It's also presenting in my thyroid and brain. I can feel it. Lymph nodes are hard. Oh, crap. Now I can see why you're worried about you being the third. Yeah. I'm a contractor and I breathe a lot of dust as well. Yeah, you're going to be careful there, man. I've been watching your vids for about a solid year now and have to say that I agree with everything you say. Your ideas about man being, my analogy, fruitarian built by nature, are flawless as far as I'm concerned, and I think the same way. I don't see how you can disprove it. I mean, you can say that there are primates acting as omnivores, but look at where they're at. I think the problem is all these different geographical environments. And when you take a species that's native to one area, which we know through National Geographic and anthropology now we're native to tropical regions, how we can suddenly say that we've adapted to these northern cold climates. We've adapted, but look at the price we've had to pay to do that. I look at Alaska, The Last Frontier, which is one of I like that program a lot. Those two families, the two brothers and all that. And look, they had a high of 40 and they were in their no shirts and having fun. What was 40 here the other day? And I'm telling everybody, look, if this was in Alaska, they'd have their shirts off. Here we're wrapped up to beat the band. Because here in Florida, when it's 40, it's actually 0. Yeah. There's no argument against them. My question is, I've got a crazy addiction to coffee that trumps them all. How can I do the lemon fast and not feel tired? Well, because your adrenals are shot, man. That's why. And then the problem with the coffee is that it gives you that kick. And even I've said this before, people use coffee in the morning to poop. But that coffee gives you the kick, but then you have the innervation, so you have to keep getting the kicks in one way or another. Look at Red Bull and all these things like that. I've got friends of mine that run, car dealerships, because my dad was a Chrysler dealer. As one thing, and they're pumping Red Bull like crazy, and it's like, oh, I'll be seeing you guys in a while with no adrenal functions. Okay. How can I do the lemon fast and not feel tired, hungry, and yet still be able to perform my job? I probably would do the grape fast first, and I probably, Roger, would be to just suck them down. Take them to work, put them in your truck or wherever, put them in your lunch bag, wherever you are, and just suck them down. Whenever you're hungry, just tuck a whole bunch down and just eat all the time, or off and on, when you can. Sit down and eat a great big bowl of fruit, and then go do your thing and take handfuls of fruit and just keep working that way. I would probably do the grape fast first and then move to the lemon first. I don't add, you definitely want to get lymph node number 5, lymphatic number 1 capsules, lymph node 5 tincture, kidney 1 capsules, kidney 2 tincture, and really start hitting my kidneys, clean up the GI tract, stomach and bowel, GI, really start aggressively cleaning and detoxifying. And if you have to, put some oil, particularly grapeseed or a good olive or coconut, or castor in particular, over these hardened lymph nodes. Not a lot, but a little bit over them to see if you can't soften them up, because It's the kidneys that's the problem. Get the kidneys filtering and the lymph nodes can open. The problem in getting hardened lymph nodes is getting all that hydration into that lymph node so that hardened acid mass can loosen up and start liquefying in a cationic. You're looking to create a cationic environment in these lymph nodes. Now you have what's called an anionic environment, a coagulated or agglomerated environment that's getting hard on you, and that's an environment of acidosis. So you have to hydrate that. That's the other reason why I like the idea of bringing grapes in here. I think they're a better hydrator and quicker, although lemons are very, stronger astringent-wise. I don't know if you sell adrenal tonics. You betcha. We sell everything we can to rebuild tissue. Anything that I need to work in my clinic, that's what we sell. That's how I started making my formulas. I couldn't get them anywhere. And I needed them. I knew exactly what I wanted to do and do with them. And I've been making some through teas and things like that, like the Hillel teas for years, but really not full-blown programs. I was borrowing everybody else's herbs, using this and this and this, and I just never was satisfied with formulas of other people's, and suddenly I went, you know what? I'm going to make it my own. Can you tell me what proportions of herbs you use in your formulas? Well, if you stay with 4 or 5 herbs in a formula, you have 100%, you're at 20 to 25% for herb. Most of my formulas range from having 15 to 20% of the first herb, all the way down to 2 or 3% of the last herb, and all the ranges in between there. I try to keep between 10 to 15% of any herb. The strongest herbs are going to get a 15 to 20% rating in a formula for me, and then those that have a good kick got 10%, and those that are going to help push or pull the other ones through is going to get down 1 or 2%, because you always want to have a pusher or puller like prickly ash or a little pepper or a little something to either drive it or send it. I don't know if you sell, okay, I would like to make my own. Anyway, I signed up for the whole Obamacare thing, but right now I'm thinking that it's the fast track to a really bad time. Absolutely. Horrible. Sorry for being so brutally honest here, but I'm looking to get super high. And I've been watching you for a while. Well, let's get high together, Roger. But let's get high on a extended grape juice fast. That'll make you buzz. But get your butt doing this right now, Roger. You ain't got time to play around either. See what I mean, guys? Everybody's in trouble with the lymph systems here. Look at the tumors. Look at what 17-year-old or what she's going. Look at Roger, what he's going through. It's all over the place. We get it in here daily by the handfuls. So you can see why it warps me a little bit. I try not to get involved. It's like the parents going to take this 17-year-old and force her into that. I've had my belly full of that kind of crap where the parents or child services are forcing babies on chemo and radiation. And the studies have already been out. The studies are out on chemo, medical. Stories are out. Studies are out. Damages all the cells. Destroys healthy cells. So in effect, you're saying, I'm going to destroy most of your healthy cells in your body because it's going to hit billions of cells. All the genetic weak cells are going to definitely be your next cancer spots. And I'm going to do this to try and maybe save your life because, even though I can't cure this thing that I don't understand. I'm going to cut it on you and I'm going to take some lymph nodes out just to check them, see if they're cuckoo. Insane. God, I need a drink. Thank God it's just tea. No. Wish it was. Something else, maybe. This is Celestia. Can't hardly read it. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you. Oh, thank you, sweetheart. You got it. As she watches our videos and Dan McDonald's videos, I discovered you back in November 2013. I have not stopped listening to you since then, and I love every minute of you. Thanks. Today I'm not in such good. You guys tug at my heartstrings. It's just sad. But Gina, you get this tumor out of there. It's only down in your leg, so you're good. The place is good. So, it's not like it's in your breast or your lungs or somewhere else. Oh, Ooh, ooh, ooh. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, Roger. Now, I would say this. The cancer's in both lungs. It's also presenting itself in his thyroid. Lymph nodes are hard, da-da-da-da-da. Roger, you get yourself on a great fast and get yourself on these herbs if you can. If you can't, call Gen B and see if there's anything back there they can give you. Because you need to get this. I mean, this is where Roger's more in trouble than Gina. And so Roger needs to get the lung, the 3-lung tea, get these out and coming out of here. Because you've got to get all this lymph moving. And you're going to, since it's in the lungs, you know what your lungs are going to look like, full of sputum, full of mucus. So you're going to be coughing up a lot of mucus. Get past the clear and the yellow stuff, then you're going to get into the real good stuff. You're going to get into the green, the brown, and maybe even the black. If you've been a smoker, you're going to get into the black stuff. You want that. And you want to cough that stuff up. You're going to cough up some nasty, nasty stuff. And you want to do this now before you get edemic in the lungs, because having a draw of acid lymph out of the lungs is not fun, you know. So you don't want to start getting edemic from all of that. You want to get these lungs cleaned out now. Get your thyroid. Clean your GI tract. All this sits on here. Get these kidneys filtering and the adrenals up, and you'll get this out of you, man. And that's how I would live. I'd totally live in the world of cleaning and expectorating and getting all this out of me. Getting my kidneys filtering. My skin is sweating. My bowels are pooping good. Everybody's eliminating. Open the doors. And don't wait to do it, Roger. Don't wait to do it. Do it yesterday. Get on those formulas I was telling you about for the kidneys and the lymph nodes and everything like that. Let me see here. I just bought the Detoxification Specialist DVD. Go, honey, go. Go, go, go. And this is... I'll just call you Miss Wilson. Always, I am not sure if my question is right for YouTube. I think, you know, the only thing, I don't mind any questions on YouTube. Although I'm a little radical, you know that. But I'm radical because I've seen so many people go down these bad roads to Hellville through chemo and radiation, and they're not walking anymore. They can't get to Wellville Road because they killed them. This insanity of chemo and radiation, I just tell you, it's insane. It's insane. There's nothing to say about it, but it's insane thinking. But I wanted to ask your opinion on a career path for me. I have always been passionate about animals, our planet, and about achieving optimum health in the body. Well, I like this. I have been on my own journey since 2008, starting as a vegetarian, then to vegan, and now I am almost 100% raw. Congratulations. I am 23 years old. Look at that. Sweetheart already. She's putting her body in this. Boy, you guys, and just graduated in May 13 from my school up to MA with a bachelor in business management after packing and leaving my home state of Connecticut. I have most recently moved to the Florida West Coast to live with my grandfather. West Coast, you got to be on my side. I am right now in the process of looking for a job down here while also studying to get my detoxification specialist certification too. And my question is, frankly, where do I go from here? I'm not sure where I should be looking to get my foot in the door, but I would love more than anything to be around any type of work having to do with naturopathy, raw organic foods, animals, organic gardening, and so forth. But I really don't know where I can fit in with the education I have. Please, I would appreciate any tips or your opinion. Much love to you, Miss Wilson. 23-year-old female. Well, first of all, if you're close to me here, you can come in here and spend a couple of weeks sitting here with me and going through my clients with me, honey. Those of you that have passed the school and that we can find time to fit you in, you can sit here and have a week or two study with me. In that, we can discuss the options that you can have in doing that. I think that detoxification centers, spas, health spas, things like this is the cat's meow. You know, you just start with whoever you can start with. You start with the friends, you start with these, you start putting an ad in the newspaper. Learn how to regenerate your body with through raw foods. Or, matter of fact, you don't want to even scare them away, but wherever city you're in, that's why I tell you guys to get out and start walking on the beach, walk in the mountains, walk somewhere that you're happy with, and start lecturing to the birds, start lecturing to the animals, start lecturing to the grass, start giving a dissertation on how you see health. See if you can verbalize what you're thinking. Get used to that mind verbalization connection to where what you see can filter through your mind, down through the human brain, and out the mouth. Because you see this from soul. The mind is, that of course is the eyes of the mind. Then it clicks the mind into putting it into categories and relationships to where you can access that. And then of course all the other components come into that as well. So I would set me up a talk. Do it in a library. Libraries have free meeting rooms. Banks a lot of times offer free or $100 or something for a meeting room. Set yourself up a meeting room. Think about how you want to word your ad. So every word, think of every word you're using and how the public is going to see that word in connection with all the other words you're writing down. So what you're saying about your lecture or your talk wants to be something that you know people are suffering. So you can put, are you in pain? Have you suffered all your life or for years without finding a remedy? Now there is a remedy. Or find the truth of why you suffer. You know, use these sort of things like this and try to get people's interest perked up into that. Make posters and go around and post them in all the RV parks that's probably around where you are in Florida. And in grocery stores, bulletin boards, laundry mats. You know, go around and do that and start building your practice. Build it from home. Personal trainer, I come to your house and I take care of you there. Get yourself some, you know, in the school we have materials. You can use our questionnaires that we give you and make your own questionnaire out of that. So when they answer, you see what glands and organs that they're having trouble with. Knowing that you're just going to go in and clean them out and rebuild them. Stay away from diseases and concepts of cancers and stuff like that. The medical doctors are wallowing in that like hogs in slop. No offense, but it's time we stop this. Too many Ginas out there. And Rogers, but, you know, as you get older, at least you got the right to take care of yourself. Where poor Gina, even at 17, child services will probably come in here. I'd get a judge and get myself disavowed from the family. I mean, if your parents are going to force you into a death sentence, then you got to get away from the parents. I mean, I don't know of any other answer. We have to protect ourselves, whether it's from our parents or whether it's from our medical doctors or whether it's from our society. We have to start protecting ourselves. They've created a killing machine out here that inhales thousands of people per hour worldwide and kills them. I mean, let's just talk right straight to it. And that's straight talk, and that's right up straight talk. If not, then how come the CDC centers and all the statistics are showing us the other way? The true statistics are showing us something different than what they're telling us. And the trouble is, you can't get around the statistics. Sad stuff. Sad stuff. That's why I do this. I do this to help the Ginas, the Rogers, and everyone before they get to the Ginas and the Rogers. That's why this is so important, parents, on your children, that they don't end up like, you know, with tumors and stuff that you have no control, because a lot of you already know this about chemo and radiation. It's the unaware sleeping souls that don't. And in that process, they're building more karma because they're pulling other souls into that unconscious syndrome of theirs. And it's ever inclusive in locking this bond, karmatic bond between those souls. Sometimes you have to get away from parents to break that karmatic bond. Who cares? These are just people that brought your body in here. They're not your parents. God is. And it's not your parent, it's who you are. You don't have to look to some other superior being, as you are the superior being. You just have to become aware of it. And thought doesn't bring you into that awareness. That's what separates you from that. And it's all unimportant, because there's nothing you can, you're going to awaken as you awaken and all these things, but all these little tidbits I hope will help you to do it quicker and without the pitfalls, that's out there. If I can save you from pitfalls that I fell into, let me do it, because it'll help you. If not, you can climb back out of them. Hopefully, that's the problem. People like Gina and Roger, they can't wait. They need to be on this yesterday and pulling this stuff out of them, and they'll be free. They'll be done, and they'll be cleaned up, and everything's good. They have a chance, a big chance, especially Gina. Roger's got a fight on his hands, and Roger, you can do it. Just roll up your sleeves, put the robe on, grab that rope, and jump on that bull and ride that baby. We're here to support every one of you. Gina, you too. We're here for you. I have several questions for you today. Hi, Doc. This is Jal. First, can we use tap water for enemas, or is it harmful for the body? I wouldn't. I would try to get a filter at least on your tap water. A filter that takes away all the chlorines and fluorides and stuff like that. At least get a nice filter. I can't tell you which one. There's so many of them now. I don't know which is the better ones anymore, because I have RO water, whole house RO water at my house. But, good question. I just, there's nothing happy or healthy about chlorine or fluorides. There's nothing happy about them. And you want to avoid that. And that's the same thing with saunas and everything else. We should have an RO system in all sauna baths and stuff like that, They're not that expensive for a whole sauna unit. Also, I have just read a PDF stating that vitamin C absorption could repair nuclear radiation-induced injuries in the body. What do you think? I would have to be the first one that says, really? Ascorbic acid repairs nuclear radiation-induced injuries in the body. If you had said to me, flavonoids do, I would certainly be on the bandwagon. Vitamin C is simply a small component of the bio, which is a small component of the flavonoids. So, why not get the whole power of the flavonoids and the astringents and the vitamins and the minerals and all the other stuff you get in the fruit? Why not just go on grapes? Now you got it all. Why just the vitamin C? Because it is antagonistic to calcium. So you've got other factors by taking an acid that you have to deal with. Why do that when you can get the whole flavonoid complex, which is a more base take, much better? Because vitamin C is acidic. Could a regenerated body be harmed by nuclear radiation? Less, much less, and it won't stay. It won't stay. Remember how we talk about anionic and cationic. In an anionic medium, which is an acidic, dehydrated, agglomerated, coagulated medium, where fluids tend to dehydrate and thicken and harden. That's why the hardened lymph nodes. You hard up like a rock. And when you are in acidic anionic medium, everything bonds, holds, radiation stays with you. When you start doing an alkaline ingestion or a more balanced pro-alkaline ingestion, then you start the hydration and the cationic experience, which starts more of an aggressive fluid movement, a hydrated experience. Things start moving more aggressively in the body. And that's what you're trying to achieve, of course, in that manner. And radiation is the same way. Radiation, remember I told you about the guy that was at the first atomic bomb explosion and how many miles they were away and they got blown. I got it out of him, but I tell you, I was amazed that he carried it for all those years. He carried it for almost 40 years without getting a lot of skin cancer and stuff, which is surprising to me. But detox, get yourself hydrated interstitially, and radiation and all this won't be able to stay with you. The damage will be minimal because, matter of fact, your cells will be more protected within a more base balanced medium, along with the, of course, with the properly cleaned interstitial fluids, which will give you that more hydrated balance, more alkaline balance, the fluids, so that the acids will be halfway neutralized in that manner, and then finished off with the bacteria, and then finished off as you pee them out. So all those sort of things, you know. Well, I could go on here forever. There's so much to talk with you about. Some of you guys, you know, are in trouble, and you've got to get yourself focused and get your bodies cleaned out. And if there's anything that drives me, it's the Rogers and the Ginas. And it drives me to work on myself deeper and others deeper, especially the young people. And let that drive you. Look around and go, nope, I don't want to go there. And when your lymph system's backed up, that's where you're going. Whether it's tomorrow, whether it's 10 years from now. That's how important what you guys are doing is to the world. I can't even overstate it, because you guys are so vital. Such an essential need for the spiritual upliftment, for the ability of humans to put smiles back on their faces, for the 17 years old to look and have a new world of excitement and joy and not worry about whether they're going to be filled full of chemo and radiation and killed. Only some of the parents that run with fear don't know that radiation and chemo kills. Don't buy into the propaganda out there somewhere that this is a magic elixir. I suggest all parents take a big swig of chemo before you give it to your children, so you'll understand what you're taking. I highly recommend you follow it with something. You know, I took IV therapy at Botech down here because I had to have it in my work at the hospital. And I wanted to know advanced life support and higher cardiac. There's national boards you can take in cardiac work that I wanted to pass and stuff, and so I had to have IV therapy and all that. So when I took IV therapy, the nurse practitioners, and we were practicing inserting needles and everything, of course, and the nurse practitioner then got to chemo. And she said, you have to wear these gloves. And she said, and that's when they were doing more IV therapy, chemo through the artery in your hand, or the brachial in there, in your arm, or the subclavian, but it was more in your hand here. And she said that don't spill chemo on the skin. Be very, very careful. And I said, how come? She said, well, it'll burn a hole in the skin. I said, okay, now, so what's the skin made of? She said, cells. I said, okay, so you want to inject this substance, this highly acidic substance, which I didn't tell her at the time the pH, because I didn't figure she even would understand that, because I already knew the pH of chemo back then. And I said, so you want to introduce a cell killer acid into the venous system. I said, what's your vascular walls made up, honey? She said, cells. I said, so you don't want to spill any on your skin because it burns a hole in your skin, but it's okay to inject it up a vascular wall, which is your main nutritive line, feed to all the cells. You want me to inject this high acid that'll burn a hole and destroy the cells right on your skin if you spill it, but it's okay to inject it in your mouth. How many people have I seen walk in here that had a collapsed artery all the way down their arm? Or vein, all the way down their arm. But just put it in here. You can't see it. Can't see anymore. Collapsing of the vein, and put it right in the aorta. Remember I told you of X amount, I can't remember, was it 4, 5, 7% of the people die from aortic aneurysms from doing that. Instead of having it collapse here, it explodes here. Except that's just a little bit bigger place to explode. The reason it's a bigger artery, it's thicker, and it can take chemo, right? What does your body do to fight an acid? And especially right here in the vascular system, it can't grab cholesterol that fast. So what does it have to grab? Calcium. Well, where are you going to get calcium if I'm dumping pure acid into the aorta? Where am I going to get the calcium to try and neutralize it? Just your body's effort to neutralize this tells you how bad. When do they learn you don't put toxins and acids in the body and expect to get to Wellville? You always take your patients to Hellville. I guess they're just not awake to that. Where does it get the calcium? Right out of the vascular walls. And so the walls will herniate and in some cases aneurize, explode. Insane. Insane, insane, insane. So does that make sense? I'm sitting there looking at this nurse practitioner going, are you serious? Of course I already knew all that. But just to impress upon her the seriousness of what she's thinking and what she's talking about and what she's instructing her nurses to do. Insane. Insane. This is why good nurses quit and belong to the Holistic Nursing Association, go to more home care type things and get away from this insanity that the medical profession in hospitals and cancer clinics can do to you. I mean, it's a sad stuff. I'm not denying the need for surgeries. I'm not denying the need for medical intervention in stat needs, emergency needs, trauma needs. But that's about the extent of it. So this is why we all need to change and have the difference between a surgery, emergency room, and health care. We are the health care experts. We are the ones. We learn all this. The chemistry, the physics of life, we know all how to take care of the health care. Emergencies are emergencies and surgeries are surgeries. Just saying. Well, it was a little rowdy video for you today. But you guys can get my juices going pretty easy because it's just sad. It's a sad, sad thing, you know. And protect yourselves. Protect yourselves. Protect your children. Get them healthy now. Gina, get yourself healthy, my dear one. If you have to, give us a buzz. Same with you, Roger. Get yourselves on these great fasts and get these tumors out of yourselves, and you'll be well. And you can do that. You don't have to say, I'm done. I guess I'm not going to live. No. You put yourself here and you make yourself live. You get yourself cleaned out of acids and tumors and all that. You got all these videos give you all the answers, and then you're free. You're free from a body that's enslaving you. And now you're free to grow, to play, and have fun, and enjoy the rock. Love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in, and sorry for the rowdy video. But once in a while, I can have a rowdy video. But I love you all now. Take care of yourselves, and I mean really take care of yourselves. And by the way, go have some fun and give some people some hugs today. And here's a big hug and kiss to each and every one of you guys. Are so sweet and so good. I love you all. Keep digging in and win, win, win. Thank you so much.